New details shed light on why police confiscated guns belonging to the husband of a missing Chula Vista mother. Why he says his rights have been violated.
Graduation season nears. How our local universities plan to give as many students as possible an in-person ceremony.
7 local siblings who lost their parents in a deadly crash 3 years ago are now finding happiness in their new home. The Positively San Diego Way, a pair of empty nesters, made room for the children in their hearts and home.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
There are new details about the gun violence restraining order against Larry Miliete, the husband of the missing Chula Vista mother of 3. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Many of the firearms were unregistered, and a missing piece of the document discovered today shows another reason why investigators wanted to confiscate Miliete's firearms. It had to do with a picture of Miliete's young son next to a cache of guns. So then Miliete reached out to our ABC 10 News anchor Vanessa Van Hefty and told her his rights have been violated.
Investigators are not saying what they took from the home of Larry Miliete's Friday night, but newly obtained documents show he owned a cache of weapons. The order says there are 2 photos of Miliete's kitchen table that show a cache of 16 firearms, 4 U.S. passports, a government ID, several high-capacity magazines, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. The cache of firearms included 2 short-barreled AR-15 illegal assault weapon platforms, 5 additional AR-15s, 3 pump shotguns, 1 bolt-action rifle with scope, and 5 semi-automatic handguns. One of the photos depicted the Miliete's 4-year-old son standing on the table surrounded by the legal and illegal cache of weapons. The order states the child had immediate access to the weapons, creating a potential extreme danger. 8 of the firearms were legally registered to Miliete. The other 14 were not. Miliete responded to my inquiries in a text saying, "All of my firearms were purchased legally. I am a law-abiding citizen and veteran. My rights have been violated numerous times, especially my Second and Fourth Amendments. I still believe we live on the best country on earth despite the events that have occurred thus far." He thanks me for reaching out and continues, "I would like to add that I have showed no aggression or pose no risk that would prohibit me from owning or possessing firearms. It is our constitutional right as Americans to be able to protect our family from all enemies, foreign and domestic." After the search in January, Miliete reportedly told officers that he knew they were coming for his weapons and he gave multiple firearms to his friends. In the document, police say he refused to give the names of those in possession of the weapons. 10 News also uncovered Miliete's military record. He was enlisted as a hospital corpsman from August 2000 to 2005. He received numerous awards and decorations, including the Global War on Terrorism Medal and the Pistol Marksmanship Ribbon. Vanessa Van Hefty, ABC 10 News.
And tonight on ABC 10 News at 7, Team 10 looks at what investigators can do with the collected firearms as they investigate Maya's disappearance. And we have comprehensive coverage surrounding the disappearance and the search for Maya Miliete on the ABC 10 News app. You can also find a timeline of events going back to the day she disappeared. Turning now to coronavirus, many Californians could soon get another stimulus check, this one directly from the state. Today, Governor Gavin Newsom announced his plan that would send money to roughly 2/3 of California's taxpayers.
That tax rebate will impact just shy of 80% of all tax filers will get a direct stimulus check.
Some Californians received $600 stimulus payments earlier this year, but they only went to people making $30,000 a year or less. If approved by the state legislature, the Golden State Stimulus Plan would expand to provide payments to taxpayers making up to $75,000 a year. It would also give an additional $500 to families with kids.
Graduation season is almost here, and college and universities are planning to give graduates a traditional celebration with in-person ceremonies. One university is having its students toss their caps in the outfield at Petco Park. ABC 10 News reporter Natay Holmes shares how the colleges are planning to keep people safe.
After years of hard work, Walking across the stage and grabbing your diploma is a dream for many college students. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case last spring when colleges like San Diego State University had to go virtual.
Congratulations on your accomplishment.
A 20-minute commencement speech was given to SDSU grads online.
Was telling myself I'm probably going to have a virtual graduation back in August, just gearing myself up for that.
That won't be the case this year. San Diego State enlisting the help from Petco Park to hold in-person graduation ceremonies. Graduating senior and outgoing editor-in-chief of the Daily Aztec, Brandon Tuccinardi, says he was shocked when he found out he would get a proper graduation.
Shooting photos for opening day for the Daily Aztec when they made the announcement that it was going to be there. And so that was a really great feeling just to be there for opening day and seeing the possibility of what our graduation could look like.
Graduates will only receive 3 to 4 tickets to limit capacity inside the stadium. The county's outdoor venue guidelines will apply, like masks and social distancing.
And just to think we'll be one of the few, if the only graduating class to graduate there, is kind of a really special feeling.
SDSU, University of San Diego, CSU San Marcos, Point Loma Nazarene, and UC San Diego all plan to have in-person ceremonies with limited number of tickets. The schools allowing the 2020 virtual graduates to walk in this year's ceremonies. Graduation season kicks off this week with USD holding commencements at Torero Stadium Friday through Sunday. Nate Holmes, ABC 10 News.
You can find a list of commencement ceremonies around the county on our website, 10news.com.
As vaccination sites across the county see a drop in appointments, there is a big push to get the younger population vaccinated at pop-up locations. Starting this week, a number of vaccination clinics will be held at San Diego County schools. The neighborhoods were specifically picked because of low vaccination rates. The clinics are accepting walk-up appointments for anyone 16 and older. UC San Diego and Sharp Healthcare are hosting many of those sites. And for a list of schools that are participating in the pop-up clinics, go to our website, 10news.com. Meantime, a second vaccination superstation in the county is closing. UC San Diego said today that site at the RE/MAX Center will shut down June 1st. The superstation opened back in February. This site and Sharp's superstation say that they are seeing a huge drop in the number of people making vaccine appointments.
A relatively high number of new daily cases has pushed San Diego County's 14-day rolling average of positive COVID tests back up to 1.5%. There were only about 230 new cases reported today, but they account for 4% of all of the tests given. And as is normal for a Monday, there were no new deaths reported. As San Diegans look to rebound with new jobs, the San Diego Workforce Partnership just launched a new online tool to help. It's an interactive hub designed to help match people with good jobs that match their strengths and their interests. The pandemic saw San Diego's unemployment rate triple, with more than 150,000 people losing their jobs.
Even the oldest standing building in downtown San Diego is not immune to the pandemic. Our partners at KPBS report the Gas Lamp Museum at the Davis Horton House has been largely empty since the pandemic began. Now it's in financial distress, and the Gas Lamp Quarter Historical Foundation has turned to a GoFundMe to keep the building open.
We've had a really rough year, like a lot of people, and so we're raising funds and raising awareness that the museum is in financial difficulties, and we may go away at the end of June unless we are able to raise some extra funds.
Because of pandemic restrictions, the foundation has not been able to give tours, and its biggest fundraiser of the year was also canceled twice. Right now, the museum is open Fridays and Saturdays for self-guided tours.
Most of California is now under a drought state of emergency. Governor Newsom expanded his emergency proclamation from last month. At that time, only 2 counties were under an emergency, and today that number grew to 41 of the state's 58 counties. San Diego is not one of them, but every other California county is experiencing some form of drought. As of today, San Diego County is considered abnormally dry.
A fugitive trying to escape bounty hunters led them on a pursuit this morning that ended in a serious crash.
All the way down National. Oh, he's spun out. He crashed.
The bounty hunters shared this dash cam video with us. That crash happened just before 3 this morning along Ocean View Boulevard in Cuyamaca in Mountain View. The bounty hunters say that the man that they were chasing crashed into a tree but was able to get out of the car and then run off. The bounty hunters believe that man was armed. Police are still searching for him tonight.
A bill to ban offshore drilling in Southern California goes before its first committee this week. Today, we spoke with the bill's author, North County Congressman Mike Levin, just before he returns to Washington.
When I speak to constituents, this is one that is a truly bipartisan issue. Nobody wants to see more drill rigs off our beautiful coastline. We want to protect our oceans and our beaches, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
There are currently 23 oil and gas platforms off Southern California's coast, mostly from Huntington Beach to Santa Barbara. Congressman Levin's bill would ban any new offshore leases. He said making the ban a law would protect it in future administrations. And in addition to protecting the ocean and the environment, Congressman Levin added that he believes the bill would positively impact Southern California's $7 billion coastal tourism industry.
People in Oceanside can now file a report with the police department using Zoom. The UT reports the idea came from a sheriff's deputy in Jacksonville, Florida, who was taking a college class taught by an Oceanside police lieutenant. The department added the Zoom button to its website just this week. It can only be used for incidents that happen within Oceanside city limits, not including CHP jurisdiction on the freeways. Some reports, such as a stolen car, still need to be filed in person.